Okay, we're live
Hi.
again. So the technology and the internet gods are not with us lately, and even though we're on Zoom all the time or on Instagram all the time or whatever, this is not. It's just not working. I don't know why, but I will be firm and consistent. I'm gonna try. So welcome again, and thanks for giving us a little bit of time just to hear us ramble a bit. As you know, because we explained this on that post that I made about Emma, we are trying to do this because we want to get to know the people that are out there, our potential audience, and because we're trying to set up a business that is based on what we like doing, that is health, self-care, well-being, etc. Well, because our situation demands a change, I think. And this has been going on long enough in our heads, I think, and it deserves a place in our lives now. So it's been going on for years and years, us trying to collaborate.
Probably 8
and
years.
Now I just think that it is the time to do it finally.
Yeah.
So here we are. But we've had a bit of we've had a few issues in the way, and not only technological, but of other sorts.
Emotional.
Yeah, all sorts. And I wanted to talk. Some of these issues came up in the last video that we tried to do, that maybe you saw, and that is hilarious. And we want to talk about a bit of about all of them and more. So I wanted to start today, maybe talking about the fact that we have done so many things in our lives. And I recently found out that this is now called multipotentialite. My grandparents would have called it like lazy or not focused
or jack of all trades.
Not working enough. Huh?
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, and this is a trait that is starting to emerge as some sort of a personality type. But yeah, before it would have been just regarded as like just not focused enough or not hard working enough. And we're definitely there on that category.
Definitely there.
And I think a lot of people in the art scene and in the well-being scene are there too. It seems to be like a common trait. So I'm sure lots of people struggle with this. And because things seem to be set up for people that specialize and kind of push it on the same sort of lines with the same sort of public and everything in the business world, people like us struggle a little bit with the structure, and we kind of don't quite know where to put our energy on. And obviously we struggle to find exactly a thing, like this is my thing. And that's why building up a business is hard, because it takes too many years to build up clients and etc. And because we kind of jump from one thing to another, then obviously we lose our clients, or we start over again, and we start over again, and we start again. So here we are trying to create some consistency. How's it been for you? You resonate with this?
Yeah, basically I think from the moment where, can you hear me properly?
Yeah.
From the moment we're at school, at the age of 14, you're told, you need to choose your subjects at school, because by the age of 16, if you do your A-levels, you need to choose 3 subjects. And then from there, you choose 1 subject to do at university. And then it's almost like at a very, very young age, we're being forced to kind of, make these really, really important decisions about who we are and what we're going to do for the rest of our lives. And I remember finding that really stressful, because my teachers would say, so what are you good at then? And I know this sounds really arrogant, but I was good at most subjects. There were maybe not maths, but apart from that, I got really, really good grades for my A-levels, GCSEs and my degree. But I'm still stuck in this tiny attic with no money. and
we're so great, but so full.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it sounds arrogant that I could have chosen any subject, but the reality of it was that it was really confusing, and it still is. And so yeah, I went to uni and decided to do art and psychology, which was quite difficult to even find a degree that combined two different things. And then I got really confused about that, and I'm still confused about, you know, I feel like society tells us you need to specialize. What's your thing? And I don't think I have a thing. I don't have one particular thing, and I feel the pressure that I need to know what my yeah, what is my talent in life. And actually I just think it's a lots of different things, and that I'm trying to learn that that's okay, and I want to make some money, of course.
Yes, two powerful things, like first accepting and then seeing what you want to do with that. But it's very hard, and I think there's been definitely for me some like key moments in which I kind of have relaxed into that idea a bit. So one was that I told them earlier that there was this video on a TED talk about multipotentiality and stuff. And when I watched it, I felt like validated, like actually this could be a talent if you turn it that way. Because as I've just experienced this as pressure to choose. It was so hard for me to decide what to study in uni. And I started like 5 careers or something, and I did like a year of each, and then I drop it. And I always say that if you could get a PhD just for the length of time you studied, I probably already have 2 or something, because I've studied a lot. It's just that I never finished because I get bored.
So what happens to you then? So you start, and then at what point do you get bored?
I think it's not even that I get bored, it's that along the way I'll find something really interesting that it'll be somehow related to what I'm doing, but it's not exactly it. And I feel that it pushes me in a completely different direction, and then I get obsessed about that, and then I follow like a cat, like, oh, let's do this, oh, let's do that.
Or like I was just thinking about like a toddler, like they're doing a puzzle, and then 10 seconds later it's like, oh, there's like butterflies. And
yes that's exactly how I feel. But you know what, I've learned to see it as a path. Like I do see the coherence. Maybe people outside don't, but I see how one thing took me to another and why, and they are all related. But they kind of follow a trend, they're all the things I've done are like about care, so they have to do with either arts or the environment or women's health, and all those somehow are connected, so I found those points in which they intersect, and from there I kind of did this and did that, but I do see the logic. It's just that to convert all these paths into something, into a more proper structure to then produce from it, can be a challenge. I think that's what I found more challenging, and because I get so obsessed with my new thing every time, I don't care too much to hold the rest. So, and I'm just noticing this now, like someone that has been more in tune with their personality, because this is something that obviously has taken me a lot of time to be okay with, but some people that are more in tune with that, and I don't know, accepted it or discovered it earlier, have built like many different little businesses and groups and mailing lists, and they have it all running. Whereas what I do is like, okay, I'm done with this. And then I, change email, change phone number, change country, change everything, and just drop everything. And then
it's
obviously
like
my mailing list is, like, my mailing list is like this every time. Obviously. So I'm having to start to start thinking about how to like retrace my steps and think like, okay, how can I just push all this together, recover some contacts, use my knowledge from this field to put it into this field, to put it into this field, instead of just like doing
Doing it.
this kind of thing through
Almost
life.
like you want to kind of like gather up what you did before, or parts of it
Yes,
anyway, so it's like more of a whole.
yes. Don't you think that is
Yeah,
possible? Like, I think that, because I can see how they could all be combined in ways, and how all the knowledge I've acquired is relevant to one or the other. But it's just taken me a while to realize that it's okay to put them together.
yeah. And it's okay, you know, maybe lots of people who might watch this, or other things about being a multi-potentialite, which I'd never heard of, but might just think, well, you know, I've got my job and then I've got my hobbies, so I play the guitar, so I am creative or whatever. So what's the difference between us and somebody who has a job who has a job and kind of these extra hobbies around? And I think the difference is that sometimes I can't separate kind of what I'm thinking about to earn money as a career, and I get obsessed with stuff as well. And like, I don't have a hobby really. It's just there's lots of different things in my mind, like body work, psychotherapy, being outdoors. So I want to kind of lead walks up mountains and things like that. My creative side, like there's just so many different sides of me that I've trained in and studied, and moving to Spain and opening a bar and running a hostel, which just seems so random, and being an ambulance driver. And you just look at all of these things and think, some of them I can just discard as being that was purely just to earn money or something, but they're not just hobbies, they're more than that. And I think, like you, I think the more I can accept that it's not just that I need to hone in on one thing, the more I can just accept that this is how I am, then the easier it will be to make choices about things. But at the moment it can be really hard to make choices.
Yes, it is hard to make choices always when you feel like this. And I think it's because maybe we kind of want to, everything has to be like maximized, you know. So if I want to do this jewelry thing, for example, it's not to have it on the side like a hobby. It's like I want to really do it and go for it, and it's so intense, but then that kind of dies. So and then maybe it comes back a few years later, a
Yeah,
few months later. It's just that it seems difficult to just stick to one path. But as I said, this is a type of personality that is now kind of starting to gain some space in the world. I mean, like,
yeah.
okay, it's not just these 2-3 random weirdos. It's actually loads of people that
We
haven't
hope.
had the opportunity or the space to explore themselves like that professionally, because
Yeah.
before you were told like that's not the way to do it. But now that everything is so much more like fluid,
Mm.
everything, then people that approach businesses and approach their crafts and their interests in a different way, then they can have a place too. And I've started seeing this more and more, which fills me with hope.
Yeah.
That we can actually come up with something that is functional, and that is productive, and that is helpful. Because I think the most important thing for me when I think of turning this into a job, or uh, is that I've always wanted my job to be helpful, and maybe this is why
Yeah.
I've left so many jobs. Like, as soon as I feel like this is not helping as much as I want, or kind of being a transformative enough for other people and for myself, then I leave. So I think this can be achieved, but here's where the audience comes in, right? It's like in
Definitely.
our
Yeah.
heads, it's so hard for us to know what of the things that we think are interesting and that we've dedicated years of our lives to train on or to practice. What of these things people find interesting or valuable enough to turn them into bigger spaces, not just like little Facebook videos or whatever, but maybe online courses, maybe workshops, maybe retreats. Like, which of these things that we have dedicated so much of
Mm.
ourselves appeal to other people as well, because I've done this a million times as well. It's like, oh, I've got this really cool idea about whatever workshop, and this is gonna be amazing, and then no one turns out because obviously in your head.
That reminds me of when I moved to Spain, to this tiny village in the south, and you know, I had the lease on a bar. It was like right in the center of the village, so there were only kind of mainly locals living there, and we closed the bar to kind of renovate the whole place, and you know, thought about the menu and all those kind of things. And then one of my friends came to help out, and we did like the open evening. We had all these tapas on the bar and blah blah. And my friend said, why did you do this? Like, why didn't you just open the bar as it is, don't make any changes, and ask the villagers, like, what do you want from this bar? Because automatically we were bringing out these fancy tapas and things, thinking that that's what they would want, but we had no idea that that's what they would want. Actually, what they wanted was like really cheap alcohol, some cheap tapas, but they didn't want all of those things. And if they did, first they wanted us to kind of integrate ourselves into the village, and that was just such a good example of kind of sometimes, yeah, we need to listen to other people about kind of what they think. And yeah, for people like us I feel like we've got so many separate things, but so many things that can be combined to create something, especially something kind of community based. It is important and necessary for us to get feedback from people about their ideas as well, because if it was up to me and you, we probably wouldn't start.
No. the proof of that is this, like how long it's taken us to just sit down and do a video that lasts 10 minutes or whatever, 8 years.
Yeah,
you know. So like, definitely we need, this is us begging people for feedback more or less, because otherwise we cannot do it. It's very hard to come up with an idea that is actually interesting and appealing, and it's because we spend a lot of time, well, now that we're as well moms, I mean, I spend most of the day in my house going around my, in my head, going around the same ideas. So that's taking me nowhere, and I really need to hear from other people. And mainly because what Emma said now is like you just said, we want to make something that is community based. This is great. Like, I feel online stuff is really helpful to have broader audiences and to connect and etc. But I really want to create some sort of community. I want people to experience togetherness. I want to go back into being like 3D. And if you want to do this, you need people exactly to tell you what is it that they want. And I'm happy to just put anything that I've learned into the service of that. I don't want to be singing to my own tune anymore, if that makes sense. It's like I've studied many things, I've learned many things, I've lived in many places, but what is this for? I mean, it's not for me. I have it there in my head and it's sitting there doing nothing. So I just want to be offering, really. It's a matter of being of service instead of trying to create for my own satisfaction. It's completely different process.
And just so we've got a couple of minutes left, just so you know, but the other thing I was just suddenly thinking was when we had that long chat when we met up in Bristol about this, we were talking about how sometimes we feel a bit not wasted, but we could spend hours one-to-one with bodywork clients or psychotherapy clients or healing clients or whatever we're doing one-to-one. But number one, if we had more community in general, we might need less one-to-one therapy, because a lot of the reason why we're all paying or need it or thinking we need therapy is because we're lacking support, we're lacking community, and also group work, or not just paying spending our energy and directing our attention on one other person, but kind of group work. Loads more healing and stuff can take place. So that's kind of that was part of the reason that we were thinking about this as well, that we don't necessarily just want to carry on in our little box rooms just working with one person until we retire.
No, that's super important, because not that we have anything against one-to-one, because we've been doing it for really long and it's very valuable, very deep work. But we are really convinced, we've talked a lot about this, and we're really convinced that group work brings brings the healing or the therapeutic work to a completely different dimension, because you don't see yourself just through your own little narrative, but you have to build together. And this is something I experienced just, for example, being part of a choir. Like it doesn't have to be, I mean, the simplest things can be deeply therapeutic just because you're doing it with other people, and that puts you in a completely different space. And I feel after the pandemic and all this is something that we're really, really needing. So more than ever, I really want to do group work. So we have tons of ideas, like teaching to people to massage, to massage their partners, to massage themselves. We want to do work with women. We want to work with moms, because this is a thing now in our head, like in our life is all the time there, like how this would be if we weren't moms, if we are moms, so we want to put that into the conversation too. We have so many ideas. Maybe we should make a little list and get a little poll going or something.
Yeah.
And maybe people can help us decide what to start with.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Kind of like a mind map or something.
Yeah, just explore the mind hive.
Because people might be watching this and thinking, but what do they want me to say? Like, I don't know what. But I suppose we're getting the idea out at the moment that this is where we're at. And I think, yeah, we're just being transparent, and that's it, really.
Yes, that's kind of like what we're doing these videos for, just to be there out there being like, we're a bit of a mess. We don't really know exactly where this is going, but this is exactly the point. We want to get somewhere, and we want to get everyone involved and see what we can all build together, not just like us, but anyone that can bring into this business idea or whatever is welcome, because we know amazing people. So
yeah, exactly. If there are other kind of therapists or people who are interested in, or just people who like us and want to do something with us, it doesn't have to be a therapist, but it could be just open to anyone who's interested in what we're saying. So we need to go, because otherwise people are going to be like, okay, so
okay, la. Yeah, it's time. I think we've said everything. I think that was really good. It's much better effort than the last one.
Oh my god.
So we'll try this again. We're gonna upload this and we'll try and see if we carry on like putting this up on YouTube, or maybe Emma can open an Instagram account, although I was a bit reluctant because I'm trying to step a bit out of Instagram, etc. But we'll find a way to make this accessible. So we'll see you hopefully, what did we say, in 2 weeks? Yeah,
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I'm moving, and it's all a bit of a mess, but we want to create some consistency. So for now, every 2 weeks, and then we'll see what happens.
Yay.
We made it.
Love. We did it. Bye.